Hi, guys, gals, and other pals. Thanks for stopping in for a Little Surprisingly, where I get to hang out with a stranger for a couple hours so you get to listen in. Yay, group activities. Indulge me for a quick aside. One of the things I love about this little adventure is the strange recurring themes we uncover when we sit in this studio together. In our last episode, our guest talked about meeting two young women hitchhiking after dropping out of BYU. In this episode, our guest happens to be a graduate of BYU. It's weird in here, and I love it. I'm your host, Bridget Denahan, and I think leaf blowers are completely pointless. Today, I'm sitting with the not at all pointless, Ash Rogers. Ash tells us where she got her fabulous naked lady ring. She talks about being a former Mormon and why the ideals of love, care, and acceptance still pull on her heart while she continues her faith journey. We get treated to a story about going on a date with her now husband during a break from her college boyfriend, and I, because I never know when to shut up, share a taking a break story of my own. Oh, and don't miss Ash's second episode, where she talks about living in Uganda, her journey to her current role as co-CEO of Lawala, and some of her favorite traits of her close family members. Ready, set, go. Okay, you're ready? Ash, are you ready, darling?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. Do we need a clap for you?
We already did it.
You did it. Okay. See, I'm not even paying attention. Ash Rogers. Am I getting that right? There's an S on
You
the
got
end.
it. You got it.
Yes, I did it. So as always, just to remind our audience that I don't know anything about you. Full disclosure, I have met you in passing. This is kind of the theme of the last few episodes where I've met a couple of the people that we've had on in passing. You and I met at a dinner.
A magic show and a dinner.
Yes. All the things that you want in life, a little bit of magic and a lovely dinner right here in downtown Nashville. And we were celebrating a friend's divorce.
I love a divorce party.
I mean, I love a party for all the painful things because we should be looking at those things just as much as like a birthday or a marriage. Like, you did it. You did it.
Yeah, it's a life milestone. It's worth celebrating. And I think not to make any assumptions about your age, but in my life, I have fewer people that are getting married and having babies.
For sure. Same life stage.
And it's nice to celebrate other moments in people's lives.
Yeah, I always say when I hear a friend or maybe someone I've just met, when they say, I'm getting a divorce or I'm recently divorced, I always say, congratulations.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is obviously sometimes, not both parties rather do not want to be separated. But regardless of that, it is something difficult and painful and challenging, at least in some way. And it's worth celebrating.
It seems infinitely more joyful to be single than to be in a crappy marriage.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right?
Yes. That point right there. Yes. Do you find that we're just getting right into it? Do you find, and let's just say your inner circle, before we started recording, you and I were talking about kind of our peripheral friends, our inner circle, what those dynamics kind of look like. And do you find anyone in your circle having fallen into that trap of feeling like they had to get married when they were younger?
Well, yes. And not to open a huge can of worms, but
let's open it, girl.
Let's open it. Okay, well.
If you feel comfortable.
Sure. I grew up Mormon.
My goodness, I was not ready. I'm taking it in. I need a moment.
Great. Grew up Mormon,
Okay.
high demand religion. Grew up in Arizona, went to
Okay.
BYU, which is a Mormon college.
Yes, ma'am, I knew that.
In Utah. And so, yes, there's so much pressure to get married young.
Wow.
And a lot of fallout as a result in people's lives. Yeah, collateral damage that kind of happens from that social pressure and even a doctrine-driven reason to get married young and maybe not be super thoughtful about who you're marrying, other than a screen from, are they the same religion?
Wow. Okay. So right away, this is what I stinking love about sitting down with strangers is that I have no idea what's going to come up. Thank you for sharing that piece of your life with me. Can we dig in just a little bit more?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me what it was like for you growing up Mormon.
Well, in my childhood, there was so many positive things from it. Mormons are great at community, and I was part of a group of people, a congregation that cared about me. I had a lot of adults in my life outside of my nuclear family that really deeply cared for me.
Yeah.
And that, there was there's lots of opportunities within the church to serve, even when you're really young. So you get leadership positions. You're encouraged to speak to the congregation. There's a lot of testifying that happens within the main church. So you're getting up in front of 100 people or 150 people and giving a talk as a young person.
And what would, can we sidebar for just a second? Can you explain to me and our listeners, if they don't know, I certainly don't know, what does that mean? Like, what would that be? Would a child be talking about their spiritual experience? Would it be a prayer focused thing? Would it be what they did in school? What would that look like?
So Mormons don't have a preacher or a pastor.
I did not know that.
In the same way that a lot of Christian religions do. You have a bishop who kind of oversees the congregation.
Okay.
But the actual service that everyone's participating in is done by the members. So as a child, you're asked maybe sometimes to give a prayer.
Okay.
And then you might be asked to give a talk. So they would say, you have 5 minutes on Sunday morning, and we want you to talk about the atonement of Jesus Christ, or we want you to talk about the importance of honoring your father and mother.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Okay.
And then you kind of plan out, you pull some scriptures, you plan a speech, a talk to give on that. And then we do this zany thing where once a month, the whole congregation fasts, so you don't eat or for 24 hours. And then in the middle of that, everyone's asked to come up and just speak off the cuff and say how they feel.
Ooh, just a
God.
riff.
So you can imagine
A little delirium from the hunger.
the just crazy things that come up, not related to spirituality or the church or whatever, but you get some tea once a month on Sunday morning. You really get people's zany things coming out.
Thinking back, I have a two-pronged question. One, what do you remember when you were a child giving a testimony? What was the most kind of joyful one that you gave? And then the second part of my question is, what was one of I love the word zany. I mean, you're making my day already, just coming right out of the gate with the word zany, underutilized, highly joyful word. What was the most zany thing that you recall hearing? No pressure if you can't think of anything, but let's start with you first.
Oh, I can't. I don't even know if I remember. I think I would generally the part that pulled my heart about Mormonism, and I should probably say I'm no longer Mormon. That's probably important context for the conversation.
Can I interject here and just say before we started, thank you for that permission. Before we started recording, I was like, Ash, don't think I don't see that beautiful feminist naked lady ring that you're wearing. Yeah,
should we
show the camera? Like just scooch it up there. It's so good, so beautiful. And so just by that little note, I would assume that you weren't practicing any longer.
It's a nudity forward symbol.
I love anything that's nudity forward.
Sure,
so.
same.
Okay, continue. I've interrupted. I just wanted to shout out your fabulous jewelry.
Thank you so much. I should also tell you it's my brothers who passed a year ago. But it's a really like beautiful reminder of him.
May I look
Yeah.
at it? May I hold
Yeah.
it and look at it? So did he wear this?
Yeah.
What's your brother's name?
Trevor.
Trevor. Oh, I mean, just the structure of it too is really, really fabulous. Do you know where he got it?
I have no idea, but he was a bohemian, so I like to imagine he found it somewhere.
Just happened.
And
It found him.
maybe it found him. That's better. That's more consistent with his worldview for sure.
How many siblings do you have?
I have the two. So I have an older sister and my brother.
Okay, and
Yeah.
your brother. And older sister, was he a younger brother then?
Older brother as well.
Older brother as well. Okay.
I'm the baby.
Okay, you're the baby of the
baby.
family.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I was saying earlier when we were taking photos that I liked your energy when you came in because you're very calm and measured, and I'm feeling a little jumpy and frenetic today. And I would not have guessed youngest baby child. Need fresh content like social and web assets, copywriting, and more? Visit freshconsumables.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I am, in fact, the youngest. But I have a high sense of responsibility, and my role in my family was often the kind of caretaker.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to try to keep us on track. I do want to...
We're jumping around.
Yeah,
We're jumping all
as
around.
always. I love it. We're getting kangaroo style. Okay, so we'll come back to the caretaker of the family, but back to the testimony. So you were saying that something would kind of pull on your heart at any given point when you were...
Yeah, I think a universal, hopefully, truth in most religions and through line of not just religions, but spirituality is this concept of love and acceptance and care for one another. And I mean, that's what, is cool even about a historical Jesus. What a radical dude.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that even now that I've kind of deconstructed that particular worldview, that still pulls at me. And I think it always has, is this idea of how do we care for each other? How do we show love? How do we kind of emulate what we want to see in the world back to each other? I'm not sure I would have said it that way when I was 11.
Well,
but
of
I
course.
think that may have been, I do think
where
that
you were
that's
going.
that's the resonant part.
That's the piece that you've kept from that experience.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, I mean, this is just my opinion, but it's a pretty important piece. Pretty good, all said and done.
I think that's maybe what religion is often trying to get from us in its purest kind of form and intent would be how do we create a social code and things that bind us together to be good to one another.
From your mouth to God's ears, honey, pun intended, because I have found every single time we record an episode, no shit, something will come up in the subject matter that has just come up in our lives within the last few days. Or the person sitting here will reflect what our last guest said. It's really weird. It just tells me the vibes are pretty good in here, that everything's going as it should. And in fact, what I want to share, it reminds me that I won't give the details because they're personal, but we had the opportunity to sit with a nun last week.
Cool.
And we were talking about religion, specifically Catholicism.
Did you grow up Catholic?
I did grow up Catholic. I did. And just as a little nugget, the reason we were sitting with this nun is our daughter goes to a Catholic school. And so we were talking about something specifically. I love this nun, by the way.
Nuns are pretty hardcore.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of indescribable. I don't call myself a crunchy person, but by God, the older I get, the more I'm turning into a hippie, I think. There's something different about this woman. Like the way she presents herself and carries herself and the feeling you get from just being in her presence is something different. And I don't know what it is, but if somebody tells me she's a little closer to the baby Jesus or God or universe or whatever, I'd believe it because she's lovely. And the thing that came up was obviously religion, how it relates to religion in the strict confines of Catholicism. And I reflected much of what you said back to her about how I personally think of religion, spirituality. I too am sort of non-denominational and spiritually open. If whatever you're doing is not based in hate and violence, and if you lean toward love and care for other people, I think that is it. Now, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's right on.
I mean,
And isn't the inverse of it true as well? If your religion is leading you to hate and violence, right? That there's something wrong there. There's something that has become twisted or kind of
100%.
bastardized within it.
yes.
If it's not leading you to goodness.
Yes, if it's not leading you to goodness. And so many things that are happening kind of globally just make me sad, make me angry, me shake my head. And I know the details of having a loving and peaceful globalist society is difficult to do in practice. It's lovely to sit here and say, like, war shouldn't exist. That's what I believe. But then how do you do that in practice on a granular level? Like, it's complicated, right? But should we be fighting over what people believe or what they think heaven or hell or whatever, or none of the above looks like? No. Boring, waste of time, waste of human souls. IMO.
Yeah. I was at a dinner a couple weeks ago, and the idea came up of how do you build a social movement? How do you connect people towards a common goal? How do you basically achieve something important together?
Yeah.
And we were thinking about examples of when groups of people really worked, when people are able to come together.
Yeah.
And there's lots of examples outside of religion. However, I think that religion is unique in its ability to bind people to one another, often across a lot of difference and a lot of diversity.
Yes.
And to be able to unite people with a sense of identity.
Yes.
And it's really hard to figure out, how do we recreate that in a secular context, in secular spaces? And I think that that's quite tricky.
That's a challenge. That is one of the largest challenges, I think, on the planet. I'm sparking to something that you just said, which is belonging is such a human piece of that. And as much as individuals, we want to be individualistic, I think there is a very natural human craving for belonging, for being able to categorize ourselves, even though there are lots of people, I know I've had this conversation with my beloveds, who don't want to be categorized, whether it's by sexuality, whether it's by their mental health challenges, whatever it is. But I think there is something in human nature that makes us gravitate towards categorization. And I think that's just my guess, that it's like, whether I went to this school, I'm from this state, I am a married person, or whatever it is, categorization and belonging make us feel safe. That's my guess.
And it's hard to have us without them.
Right.
right? It's part of how we actually feel connected to each other is because we are not something else.
Correct. Yeah, this is such a fascinating. Yeah, girl, we're getting into it.
Getting into it.
We're getting into it. Okay, going back now, when people were fasting and they came up and said some whack stuff, I just want to make sure we're not missing a juicy tidbit about something that you heard when you were a child that was crazy and funny.
We had this particular
here it comes.
person, and we're now 25 years removed, so I think we're good. But a particular member, I couldn't even remember it if I wanted to.
Perfect.
But her voice and likeness is so clear in my mind right now. And every month she would get up with something else. And it was often about her marriage. She was telling on her husband. She was telling on her teenage children.
Piping hot.
She was working through issues with her mother. She's like, well, you wouldn't believe what she told me when I was 11 years old. It was as if
a boundaryless woman.
This woman has never heard of a boundary. That I think that was cultivated in the church culture. Boundaries. No, we are confessing all of our things to each other. And she really used it like a therapy session.
Okay.
And so I was it made my mom cringe. So I'd sit next to my mom and she's like, oh,
here she comes,
here she
Linda.
comes. And I'm like, Linda, I'm ready. What do you got today, Linda? Is your husband addicted to pornography? Is your child smoking marijuana? Like, I want it all.
It's not funny for Linda, in quotes. It's not funny for her. Did the other
Linda might have enjoyed it. I think it was a nice outlet. Linda did not go to therapy. That was clear. So I think maybe it was a good outlet for her.
Well, she did. It was just free and through the church, apparently, and at the expense of all the young minds.
And not informed. Yeah, not a trauma-informed congregation. Everyone was like, okay. All right, Linda.
Were the other kids reacting much the same way? Were they just like, this woman, like...
Oh, we did develop this... kind of system of writing notes. I feel that our generation growing up was big note writing.
Oh, yeah.
I had a gel pen and we would like fold them in particular ways.
Maybe a football, the little triangle.
Yes. You could kind of
flick
them across the room.
Yeah.
So for sure, there were several and you would write at the top of the note and someone would add to the same note as the conversation.
Yes.
This was before a group chat.
Yes.
And there were many of those about Linda, for sure.
Okay, good. I like that we just seamlessly named her and you got immediately on board. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect name, that is not the real name. All names have been changed to protect the
privacy of this lovely, misguided woman.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you, you've probably been asked this question a million times by people close to you, but do you mind sharing how you kind of transitioned out of kind of the community that you grew up in? And what I mean by that is you're no longer a practicing Mormon.
Correct.
And what that looks like for you now and your family dynamic. If you don't mind sharing, we also don't want to dig into anything that is, going to upset anybody.
I'm an open book.
Okay. Yes.
And I think that it's often helpful to share faith journeys because they can feel stigmatizing and really hard. Mm-hmm. And they're connected to our identities and to our communities and to our sense of belonging. And so I think it's an important thing to be able to talk about. I went to BYU, which is a Mormon university.
Mm-hmm. What did you study, hon?
Political science.
Okay.
And I was really excited. In Arizona, maybe 10% of my high school was Mormon. So enough to feel like I had a lot of people around and that people were familiar with what a Mormon was. Mm-hmm. But I was really excited to go and be around all Mormons. And then Mormons are only supposed to marry other Mormons. And so I also felt like this was going to be a great dating experience, that everyone, all the men that I was around were going to be
Contenders
to marry. They were not. And
Spoiler for the people.
spoiler alert, they were not. No knocks on the Mormon men, because a lovely group of people, but we were all, I think what started to bump up for me was the mismatch between the role that Mormonism imagined for me as a woman.
Tell me.
And who I felt like inside.
Tell me.
You know, I one anecdote is that I was in an accounting class, and I was good at that. I was getting good grades in that class.
Yeah.
Kind of good at accounting, kind of good at math. And there was a boy in that class who was also in my congregation. And I guess I also have to say that when you are older as a Mormon, as a adult single person, you go to a special congregation that's it's called Young Single Adults. And so,
they are trying.
Oh, they are trying to get you married. They want you to be married. So you are in a whole congregation that's all other young single people. And
Rude.
And the leadership,
Sorry.
it's honestly,
Having a whole body reaction to this.
it is problematic. And the whole and so all the leadership are other young people, and all the leadership are men. So they're other young men.
Sure.
And as a child, I hadn't noticed that all the leaders were men, because all the leaders were also adults, and they weren't me, right? So I didn't connect myself at all.
Yeah.
But once I had gotten to college, and I'm in this young single adults ward, it's called, and this young man is called by God to be the treasurer of this ward, this congregation.
Can we pause for just a hot second? I'm so
Yes.
sorry to interrupt again, but how do you know you've been called by God?
So there's a bishop, and the bishop is the only proper adult in the ward. So the bishop is a married man,
Okay.
and he prays. And God impresses upon him who to call
Okay.
in the leadership.
Okay.
So God called Dum Dum over here.
Yeah.
He's probably not dumb,
Joe.
but he wasn't good at accounting. Okay. And he gets called to be the treasurer. And that's so petty, but it was the first time it really sat with me of like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Could
God be wrong?
I would be an eligible treasurer
Right.
and more eligible than this dude.
Yeah.
And not even could God be wrong. I don't think I was there.
Yeah.
But I think it was like, why? Why would God need the leaders to all be men when women are capable?
Why
things?
indeed?
And so, so there started to be little cracks in the foundation of belief. I made lots of friends with gay men who were Mormon and at BYU. And I
Okay,
had several
how-
friends like that.
How did that? This is clunky phrasing. How did that work?
It was really hard for them, right?
Yeah.
Like we're in this.
Did they know? Did these men that you connected with? Did they? I imagine they certainly were not out, but were they out to themselves?
Across various friends, they had different understandings or interpretations of what was happening with their sexuality. In Mormonism, there's a kind of framework of having same-sex attraction.
Oh,
And
okay.
so in the church, they would say you can have same-sex attraction,
But don't do anything.
but don't act on it. But don't act on it.
Okay, the acknowledgement is fascinating to me, but
So I had several friends who were working through that and really struggling not to act on it because, of course, that would be an insane, impossible struggle, right?
Yeah.
And so that started to really get me to question of like, why would God want someone to suffer
Why
like
indeed?
that? Why, and why would you want to be? why would God set someone up to be in this impossible situation of choosing between two fundamental pieces of their identity, essentially, which is like your sexuality and your identity in your religion and the community that you're part of, and to be forced to choose across those things is tragic. So there started to be things in which I started to feel that not is this church true, but is this church good?
Let's pause on that for just a second. What you mean by true is, are they telling the truth? Or is it, tell me what you mean by that.
So in any religion, I think critics would look at the truth claims, right? Like, did Jesus really die for our sins? Is there a God? In Mormonism, it's like, did Joseph Smith find golden plates? And was there this record of this people who came over from the Israelites to North America and had this religion? So there's truth claims that I had always been aware of in the church, of people saying, oh, the Book of Mormon can't be true. It talks about horses. There weren't horses in America. How could there be golden plates, and why did they disappear? All of those things I had heard of.
Okay.
But didn't really impact my belief. And so, but this idea of, is this good? Is it good for me? And is it good for the people around me? Is it leading me to good things? Was what started to kind of shake.
Okay. And then what happened?
What happened? So then for years I stayed Mormon, and I had a series of very revelatory relationships, I would say, with men who I, thought maybe I could marry.
Yeah.
And realized that I couldn't sign up for what was being proposed.
Can I ask, in that time in your life, what was the pressure, if any, within the community for, like, did you have a timeline sort of on you where it's like, please find your partner before you're 30, or?
Oh, I thought I'd be married at 21. I thought it was really, can I get married before I leave college?
Oh man.
Right? Can you get a ring before you graduate? Your MRS degree, as they call it.
Yes.
So that was the original timeline.
Okay.
But I think that I slowly started to find out other things about myself and other things that I wanted, and was wanting to travel, wanting to work abroad, wanting to have more rich life experiences. And eventually I found myself there. I went to Seattle for grad school and met other people, and I did travel.
Where'd you go to grad school? Like at University of Washington?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was a great experience.
I mean,
Yeah. It was a
going
great
from
experience.
that environment to just being, my husband and I actually lived in Seattle for a short time.
Cool.
Being plucked in from your environment into Seattle is a whole different
Oh,
ball
yeah.
of wax.
It's like one of the most, so I went from one of the most conservative kind of subgroups or super conservative college town to one of the most liberal parts of the country. And especially the kids who are getting, a public administration degree, which is what I was doing for grad school for in Seattle, is quite a leftist bunch.
Yeah.
So I think it was good for me. It was like world opening. And
did you know very quickly, like, oh, this, and maybe not all of it aligned at that point, but were you like, oh, I've been questioning these things, or things have been not making sense for me, and then, oh my gosh, here's this new environment I'm in. I'm surrounded by these different kinds of people. Did it feel like the thing, like it's all happening, as they say?
It was piece by piece. So I went to Europe when I was still at BYU, and really confronted with different worldviews and different types of people in that
Where'd you go?
experience. I did an internship in Scotland with the Scottish National Party,
Okay.
which is a real separatist group. And
Yeah.
that was the year that Alex Salmond, who is the first time that they'd had the first minister be from this nationalist party. I had no stake in Scottish nationalism, but it was super fun, cool experience to be there. And then I kind of traveled around Western Europe.
Okay. Okay.
After that, and did the backpacking hostel thing as one does.
Yes,
in
like
your
you do.
20s.
Yeah.
And then I lived in Uganda and I lived in Fiji. We're in kind of short stints between undergrad and graduate school.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Seattle, and I think all of those experiences together, were opening, and you kind of start to realize how huge the world is.
Yeah.
How diverse and how many options there are for ways of thinking.
How old were you by the time you got to Seattle? Like young still? I'm
Still young. It was early 20s. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe I was 23 or 24.
When all this is kind of happening, are your family members worried about you? Are they knowing that you're questioning what's happening with them, or do you know?
I think they all had a lot going on
Okay.
in their own lives.
Okay.
And my father was never Mormon.
Oh.
My mother was very Mormon. My brother was really always on his own journey. And so in that way, my nuclear family, there wasn't as much pressure to stay in as a lot of people experience.
You became in your youth a practicing Mormon because your mother was Mormon.
Correct.
Okay, and how did that work with your father? Was he just like not about that life, and it was all
He was
goodish?
It's interesting. They made some sort of pact where he had really agreed to support her in we're raising the children Mormon,
okay?
but he's like, leave me out of it.
Okay,
So I think
that's pretty progressive, actually.
yeah, I think
Kind of
they had a mixed faith
sure.
marriage, and I think it mostly worked.
Okay,
I suppose.
okay.
Yeah.
So they were in their own kind of thing at that time.
Yeah.
And what happened next for you?
I met my now husband.
Okay. Tell me everything. I love a fucking meet cute. It's my favorite thing. So give me
this one. I don't come
everything.
off very well. I'm telling on myself right now.
Are you okay with not coming off very well?
It's okay.
Listen, we make
It's all right.
mistakes.
It's all
fine.
It's water under the bridge at the moment.
yeah.
I was dating a Mormon man
Okay.
who was very sweet, and so many things were nice, but it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And it was all wrapped up into these feelings about faith and belief.
How long had you been together?
I don't know. It felt like years, but I
Yeah.
think altogether, maybe it was 18 months.
Oh, that's not 2 weeks.
Yeah. And that feels super significant.
Oh, at that age,
The
too.
younger you are,
Yes, of
right?
course, of course.
So it felt very significant to me. Garrett is my husband. He was in my class in grad school, and I could like feel him looking at me.
Ooh, hot. I'm
that
into
feeling?
it.
Like I could feel it, and I'd look back, and he'd kind of look away. I couldn't not look back. It was honestly love at first sight. I believe in it 100%.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
He was magnetic to me. I needed
Ooh.
to see him and like
Yeah.
be around him. And it was before I even had a concept of why.
Goosebumps on my arms and my ankles, girl, right now. I'm okay.
We ended up in small groups together where we were supposed to do group projects.
Are you thinking, oh no?
I don't even know how conscious I was thinking.
Right.
Other than how do I keep being around this person? And
Tell me what he looks like.
Garrett is tall,
Okay.
white man,
Okay.
dark hair,
Okay.
very fit. He's a soccer player his whole life.
Rude. Okay. Yeah.
He's a handsome man. He's a handsome man.
Okay.
I could
look
not
at your
look at
smile
him.
when
I
you
know.
you're still married, I'm guessing.
Still married, and I love him so much.
It's your baby daddy.
Yeah.
You made 2 babies with
Yeah,
him.
2 children.
We talked about
Yeah.
that, listeners. We talked about that before we started recording. She's got 2 babies. Okay. Continue.
Okay, so it all comes out to I cheated on my Mormon boyfriend.
Okay.
Who was kind of trying to get engaged
Oh,
at the same time.
yeah.
And I smooched Garrett, and actually our first date.
Oh my gosh, I love you're like adjusting your position. I'm sweating. I'm sweating profusely.
Our first date, he takes me to a burlesque show
Okay, I love this man already.
and then a cocktail bar.
Girl, okay, I'm so sorry. Forgive me. The more excited I am, the more of an interrupter I am. Please forgive me.
Go for it.
How did it happen? Were you working in a small group? How did he ask you out?
He knew that I had this boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's a real Ross and Rachel situation for any friends, observers.
Yeah.
I thought we were on a break
Okay.
with my boyfriend.
Okay.
I was like, I need some space. I think I said we were on a break.
Can I pause here just for a
Sure.
little bit of levity too? And like, I love how you set this up and you're like beating yourself up about it. Listen, safe space, girl. All's well that ends well.
If you find the love of your life, is it even cheating?
I mean, I don't know. That's a pretty big question. My husband's laughing in the corner. So, Jonna, I hope you're a little bit blushing because you're probably like, what the fuck is she going to share? I will say, in solidarity, now I didn't smooch anybody during that time, but there was a period when we were engaged and I thought we broke up. I was like, bye, bitch. Be well.
See, this is a very similar, yes.
Yeah, I was like, girl, bye. And he to this day yells at me kindly, lovingly. He's like, we were not broken up.
I think that this is a very human experience,
Yeah.
very universsul.
He was still in it, and I was like, I was crying in the bed because we were done. And he was like, we'll get back together. Well, like, tell me, Jonna, say your piece. He's speechless.
I gotta take off my headphones.
Okay.
Number one, is your cell phone on the coffee table?
It is indeed.
Yeah, will you take it off the coffee table?
Is it fuzzing?
Yeah.
I'm
Only
s-
twice.
Oh, it buzzed?
Yeah.
What? It's on mute. I swear it's on mute.
It's on vibrate.
Here.
It's vibrate right up that microphone.
Okay. Thank you, love. Here, tell him.
Because we were in Minneapolis at the time. And I wasn't getting, my work situation was garbage. And I was trying to freelance, and I was piecemealing work together, and I had an opportunity to go back to a former job and teach full-time. And what I was trying to do is get into graduate school. And I was like, if I go back and teach full-time, I can go to graduate school. And we've talked about this, but I was just like, we were wintering in Minneapolis. So we moved in there in the spring.
During a blizzard
During
in
a
the
blizzard.
spring. Yeah,
And then it was the following winter.
I think so.
Fall, November, somewhere. It wasn't December yet.
Yeah.
I think it was November. Yeah, because I went to Florida in November and helped my dad at his house.
Are you okay with this sideline, Ash?
I'm loving it. I'm enthralled.
It's gonna be really small. But then what I did, and we'll probably cut around it.
No, we won't. We're leaving it in.
It depends. It's not very loud.
Vulnerability.
Anyway, so I went to help my dad work on his house in Florida, moved in with my buddy that had an open room, and my whole thought process was like, let me get stable again, like work-wise.
Yeah.
Like, let me just feel like a human being again, because I did
Yeah.
not feel like a good human being the last 2 or 3 months we were in Minneapolis.
That
Very-
was an important part.
a lot of depression
Yeah.
about work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I had told her, I said, I can't do this. Like where I am right now.
Listen.
This is like, I feel like I can't, and I'm a bright person.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy.
How old were you at this point?
Grown.
I was in my early 30s. And so, and as soon as I got down and got established again, immediately it was just like, will you come down and visit? And right, because you flew down.
You actually, the way I remember it is, you know, we're joking about it, but I think the point that you made is important. He wasn't himself, and it was new enough in our relationship, even though we'd been together for a couple of years, I didn't realize how much he was struggling and how that was affecting our relationship. And now I like know all the signs, and like he knows if I'm not good or I know if he's not good. But at the time I was like, you only have to tell me once that you don't think this is working. I'm like,
Right. You're interpreting it. You're perceiving it.
Yeah.
As a distance. If he really wanted to, he would.
well, yeah.
Framework.
And also
Yeah.
I am, and I say this to my single girlfriends, like, listen, I don't beg for anybody. Like, you want it or you don't want it. Like, take it or leave it. And the second he was like, and I believe the phrase, and we've had such beautiful conversations about this, was like, this isn't working. And I interpreted that as like, this isn't working. And I was like, goodbye. I love you very much. Goodbye. I'm going to be sad by myself now. But Jonna, to your point, I believe you, and to this day, I appreciate this effort. He was like, I'm going to come see you. Like, you flew up. And I remember going on a walk, and it was beautiful. It was the fall. I'm getting emotional. All the leaves were yellow, and we went on a walk, and he was just like, I don't want this to end, like, at all. And I remember feeling I was still extremely sad, and I was so numb that I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to go with this and see about it, which is insane to think about at this point, because this dude is my soulmate. We have a baby together. Like, I would hate to ever live without him. And just thinking about how kind of emotionally distraught I was, I'm like, oh, well, thank God one of us knew what needed to happen, because I would have never spoken to you again.
Yeah.
Like, with love, you know, like, we might have been on a casual, like, happy birthday every year basis. But like, I was done, and thank goodness you weren't. And then after that, you asked me to come down. That's how I remember it. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say, my love?
I think that's how it goes.
Okay.
I appreciate that that knowingly or unknowingly, we strangely enough made space for that whole thing to happen and work through, because I was going to see a therapist up there, and I'm like trying to tell this therapist, like, I don't know what's going on, and you just feel the wheels coming off the whole time, and you're like, none of this is turning into goodness
Right.
now.
Right.
And so I really felt like it was not a good situation.
And did you feel like you needed to have things figured out? Like, you needed to have yourself figured out, your career figured out?
I needed an
Was
anchor.
that you needed an anchor before you felt like you could engage?
Because what we had done is we had met in Florida. We had decided, let's pack up everything and move to Seattle. Mm-hmm. Cool. I'll freelance up there. She went and saw a recruiter, got a job copywriting up there at Eddie Bauer. Mm-hmm. And I freelanced around, and work was hit or miss. And about the time I started hitting regular clients, as like a photographer and sometimes as a videographer, we moved. I
got a job offer
in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. So we moved. So suddenly I was starting back over. And so for 8 or 9 months, I was just pounding the pavement. Who needs production help? Who needs this? Who needs this? And there was no grounding.
Yeah.
Like there was no, I couldn't make her and our little apartment like my anchor. I did not have an anchor. And I was just like, I have no idea where I'm going to be tomorrow. And I was like, I've got to lock in where I'm going to be.
Thank you, Jonna.
Sure.
I think there's this sweet little thing that I'm reminded of too is I have a couple of very dear girlfriends from college. One I talk to almost every day. One I only talk to a few times a year, but I adore her. And I remember, speaking of like old school and passing notes back and forth, remember when we used to get a phone bill in the mail?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was some terror that would come.
Some terror and pages and pages. We did have cell phones at that time, but I still got his phone bill at the house. And for some reason, I opened it up and saw that one of my best girlfriend's number had called him. Oh. And I was like, it wasn't anything like suspicious, but I was like, so I called my girlfriend, and this is during the time, again, that I thought we were broken up. And I was like, Haley, did you call Jonathan? And she's like, yeah. I was like, what the heck for? And she's like, I don't know what the hell is happening with you two, but this makes no sense that you guys are split up. So I called him to be like, what the fuck?
I love that.
I love that
Just
too.
a meddler. Just a meddler.
Just a good time girl meddling. Like, and I adore this woman to this day. Out of all my friends, I wouldn't have thought she would be the person to do that.
But she saw it.
She saw it. She was just like, y'all, what are you doing? This makes no sense to me.
I love that.
I love it too. And so, yeah, it was pretty sweet because it was almost like the second he kind of got his shit together, he was like, wait, darling, what do we do? Like, this is dumb. And I was just sort of like, okay, I'll go along with it. And thank goodness, because it all worked. Back to you, babe. Okay, thank you for letting us sidebar. I was not expecting that.
I love it so much. I love it so much. And I think that there's a lot of parallels there where Garrett continued to pursue me, right? Like he knew. I knew somewhere, like I'm saying, like I couldn't not be around him. So there was a part of me that knew, but I was so messy. I was like trying to deconstruct this religion.
It's big.
I was having panic attacks. I had disordered eating. I was really a mess. And so we had gone on this fabulous date.
Oh, I'm sorry. The question that I asked you, I derailed our train.
Yes.
How did he approach you to take you out?
Oh.
Even though he knew you were with someone.
He knew I was with someone. So I think I came back from what I thought was breaking up or being on a break with my boyfriend.
Right.
And I told him, I'm single. You could take me out.
Shut up. Oh, we love a bold woman.
I'm direct, if nothing else. And so then he was like, great. And he planned this date, like I said, very thoughtful, to take the Mormon girl to a burlesque show, to a cocktail bar. You know, Mormons don't drink. I'm not big on.
Did not know that, but okay.
Mormons don't drink alcohol. And so he kind of arranged this date, I think, to be like, are you down to hang?
Clown?
Are you ready for
all of this?
Yeah.
These abs, apparently.
Yeah, these great abs. Yeah. I saw them that evening. That's as far as I'll go.
Ooh.
But it was wonderful. And then I was really faced with an existential crisis of, am I going to break up with my boyfriend for real?
Yeah.
And kind of permanently? Am I going to extend the break? That it's And I didn't. I went back to this boyfriend.
No, you.
I did. We ended up living together in New York for a little bit.
What?
It was horrible the whole time.
I wasn't prepared. Okay.
But I loved Garrett. And Garrett was supposed to be leaving for the Peace Corps. It took me several months. This is kind of a theme of maybe a lot of people's early 20s. I just couldn't quite get there.
We're all dumb in our own ways.
It took me making the same bad decision several times and feeling really miserable to realize how to change. But I got there and finally broke up with this boyfriend. And Garrett,
when you were in New York.
When I was in New York, we actually, New York housing is as it is. And so I ended up having to live with him, I think for 6 weeks, broken up, sharing a bed. That's really miserable.
Yeah.
And during that time, I was G-chatting with Garrett. Maybe we were Skyping.
Not,
trying to think
not the G-chat, not the Skype.
Oh, we had just little banter all day long. He was leaving for the Peace Corps. I came home to Arizona. We were like, we're going to have, and he's from LA. He drove out, I think on Christmas Eve, or maybe it was Christmas night
to
Arizona, stayed with me. And then we spent all the time he had left until he left for the Peace Corps together. And then we told each other, we're not crazy. We're not going to have a long distance relationship the whole time that you're in the Peace Corps. And I was planning on also leaving. I wanted to go abroad again. And so we had decided to just let it be that. Like, what a great little tryst, and wish you well on your life's journey, and we'll always be friends. And we were unsuccessful at that. We just kept talking and Skyping and visiting each other. And eventually, when he was done with the Peace Corps, he moved to Uganda, where I was living. And we, lived together for several years, got married, had 2 children.
What do you like about this man?
There's something and I think that this actually goes back to my faith journey. There's something so deeply moral about him. He has this really ingrained sense of integrity in the way that he lives his life and views the world. And having that example outside of a religious framework.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Was so intriguing to me and so rooting for me.
Right.
Of being like, this is a good person. And that if I'm with this person, like, I feel called and grounded to be a better person myself. Yeah, he's great. He's also really funny, which is just so important. Having a humor,
It's not important. I found that it's not that important for everyone. It's sort of like, I've met throughout my life people who just don't listen to music, or like music isn't a part of their lives. They just can take it or leave it. Not important for everyone. Same with humor. I'm like, kindness is number 1 for me. Humor is number 2. Intelligence is actually number 3. Like, I'll concede you can be a little bit of a dummy, but God damn it, you better be kind.
And there's a certain type of intelligence that's required to be funny.
Yes.
And so I do think that those 2 things are connected somehow, right?
Right. Yeah, I definitely am married to Jonathan for his legs and his sense of humor.
I love that.
He happens to be brilliant. It's just like the extra bonus.
Yeah.
But like,
it's a symptom.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a symptom of the rest of it.
But legitimately the funniest person I've ever shared space with in my life. Stop it with your hand.
And when you find the resonance on humor, like, there's something that's soul connecting.
It really is.
About that.
It really, really is. So tell me about, okay, you said you smooched on the first date and maybe saw the abs, allegedly.
Allegedly.
When did you kind of know, and it seems like there's, tension in this and kind of struggle in many different ways because of where you both were in your lives and where you were with your, spiritual journey. Was there a point when you were finally like, this is it. I guess this is the guy. Like, we're going to be doing this for real. Was it when you continued to talk, when you were so far from each other? Did you date other people?
We dated some other people during that time, but then at some point we did decide to be exclusive.
Mm.
But I think maybe it was levels of knowing that built over time. Big for us was living together, right? Like,
Yes.
Having the relationship where you're long distance, and then he was in the Peace Corps in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is Southern Caribbean. It's like awesome. So when I was visiting him, we were just, on a tropical island paradise. So it's easy.
You're like,
to fall
of course,
in love.
the relationship is working great.
It worked
Let's live in a 500
really well.
square foot apartment.
Yeah. And so living together and figuring out life together, I think that there was a slow knowing perhaps that built. And really by the time we were married, that felt a formality.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We had shared
just
so
committed.
so much of our lives were shared and connected, and that it felt like being married was just signaling something that at a spiritual level had already happened.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Well, there you go. There it is.
Oh, man, that's good stuff.
I'll have to ask Garrett. He'll be like, that's not what happened at all.
Well, I mean, I have the benefit of being this one, checking him in real time. And probably after we stop recording, he'll be like, that wasn't how that timeline went.
But according to me.
Well, and
that's
at
how
the
it
end of the
went.
day, the women are always right. Just
Sure.
between you and me.
That's marriage.
Yeah, that's
For sure.
marriage. For sure. For sure.
Our show is executive produced by Sherry Day and Farley Day. Produced, edited, and engineered by Jonathan Kosick. Extra creative magic provided by other fine folks at our sister agency, Artists and Outlaws, including design by Josh Ford and digital management by Nate Hook. If you live in the Nashville area or are visiting soon and want to be a guest, email us at jonathan@freshconsumables.com. That's JONATHAN@freshconsumables.com. Want to hear more of Surprisingly's meaningful and unpredictable conversations? Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts. I'm your host, Bridget Deanahan. Thanks for listening.